Hey, this is your host. There's a famous children's book called The Man Who Wasn't There. It's about a guy who goes to a doctor because he thinks he's invisible. The doctor says, "I can't help you. You're not really invisible. You're just very, very thin." And the man says, "But that's not true. I'm not thin. I'm absolutely 100% transparent." And then the doctor says, "Well, that's not possible either. Nothing can be 100% transparent. There's always some small amount of light that gets blocked." And the man says, "But that doesn't make sense. I see things clearly through me all the time." So they keep going back and forth like this until the end of the story, when the doctor finally says, "You know what? I give up. You're as visible or invisible, thin or transparent as you want to be." And that's supposed to be a profound statement about how reality is, whatever we decide it is. But actually, that story is hiding a real mathematical truth about how we perceive reality. Because in physics, we don't actually see objects, we see light bouncing off them. And everything we see is ultimately made of particles. And those particles are always moving. In fact, there's an infinite amount of movement happening all around us all the time. Like right now, your body contains trillions of cells, each of which has trillions of atoms, all vibrating, all moving. Every time we look at something, we're seeing a snapshot of that motion. It's like looking at a movie made of still frames. A single frame shows nothing. But when you put enough of them together in the right order, you can see movement. But how do we make sense of this movement? How can we talk about infinite motion without getting dizzy? Ancient Greeks actually grappled with this question, and they came up with some mind-bending paradoxes. One of them, which we now call Zeno's Dichotomy paradox, went like this. Imagine a guy who wants to walk across a room. Zeno said to get to the door, first you have to walk half the distance. Then once you reach that point, you have to walk half the remaining distance. And then once you reach that point, you have to walk half the remaining distance. And you have to keep doing this over and over forever. Each step you take brings you closer to the door, but since you're always only taking half steps, you can never actually reach the door. Because no matter how far you go, there's always half the distance left, which means logically, you'll never cross the room. Of course, we cross rooms all the time and we don't even think about it. But Zeno wasn't talking about walking. He was talking about infinity. Because if each step only takes you half the remaining distance, then there are infinite steps between you and the door. And Zeno wondered, if you have to take all of those steps, then how can you ever finish taking them? Mathematicians have long since figured out how to deal with infinite steps. They've shown that even though there are infinitely many halves that add up to a finite distance, so you do eventually reach the door. But Zeno's paradox still makes philosophers dizzy because it shows how counterintuitive infinity can be. It seems obvious that we cross rooms, but maybe we don't. Maybe we're stuck in a never-ending series of half steps. Or here, watch this. In the next instant, we'll see how close you are to reaching the door. Or maybe this will make more sense. In the next instant, we'll see whether you're inside or outside the room. Or maybe this. In the next instant, we'll find out whether you're alive or dead. Now, none of these are actually good ways of measuring reality, obviously. But that's the thing about reality. Most of the time it looks simple, like walking across a room. But sometimes it's hiding infinite complexity. Sometimes the more we look, the stranger it gets. And sometimes the truth is weirder than fiction.